face. I wonder what would change. I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, that would have kept me from the one I had today. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn.
Oh my goodness. Good morning. Good morning. I'm just going to talk over the boys. That's the Ridgetop Ramblers singing us in with One Street Over. We're so excited about the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. Y'all, it is happening not this weekend, but next weekend. I cannot wait. I'm so proud of my family that they did not schedule family events on the weekend because I have my twins were born on the 23rd. My granddaughter was born on the 18th. And the festival is the 19th and the 20th. So you can imagine. Oh, and I've got one of my kids even got married on the 23rd.
There you go.
So, I mean, you know. And if you're watching on WSGI, you're going to see my hands in the camera, but mostly you're going to see Dr. Chris Causey because one of the cameras on WSGI's page is not functioning this morning, but that's okay. So you just get to see our guest.
They weren't awake. They are now.
There you go. You get to see it's Dr. Causey all the time on the WSGI page, and that's okay. If you want to see the room, you can flip over to my page and see what's going on. And I told Dr. Causey, I said, for some reason, when you walk in the room, something just goes haywire. What's up?
I don't know. There's a lot of people that might argue that happens in a lot of other places,
Yeah.
not just the radio.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Chris Causey, our director of schools, is in the house. And, you know, I was asking you, put that microphone center. That one's real directional. There you go. There you go.
All right.
And so tell me, I just asked you what you're going to do this summer.
Right.
And you're teaching. Tell me about this class you're teaching. I think that's fascinating.
I was actually, before I became director of schools, I was an adjunct professor at Trevecca Nazarene University. Got both degrees there, both my master's and my doctorate there, and such fine people, and had the opportunity to teach a weekend class for their master's program. These are folks that have a bachelor's degree in something, and they've gone back to get their master's in teaching. So I was able to teach anything from education or elementary science, which elementary teachers are very organized and they're very detail oriented. So being a middle school teacher, I had to get used to a little bit of that. But these are some fabulous students that they have there. Matter of fact, I've had the opportunity to hire a few of them. We have them teaching in Robertson County schools that went through the program. So reached out to Dean Harris and Drew and some others over there, and said, "Hey, I'm this summer might be a good summer for me to teach, if you have something available." And they're very kind. It's a educational psychology. When I was
Fascinating.
they called it adolescent psychology when I was in college, and talked about the different learning styles based on ages of kids and brain development and things like that. And I mean, we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and which is something I truly believe in, because in Robertson County we know that if a child is hungry, their brain doesn't work. I mean, just does not work the way that we would like it to. So making sure that they're fed, making sure they feel safe, which is a big topic of conversation these days, making sure that they feel socially acceptable with their peers. All of those things have to happen before you can teach them math and reading and science social studies. So I'm excited. I've never taught the class before, but it is a weekend, Friday, Saturday type of a class, 3 different weekends. That hover in June and part of July, so I'm excited. Like I said, I've been off. Dean Harris, Susie Harris, the Dean of Education at Trevecca, calls my being a director of schools my sabbatical. And
From teaching.
From teaching.
Yeah.
So she keeps on saying, when's that sabbatical over, Dr. Causey? So just very nice people. And I remember coming from Western Kentucky University, of course, liberal arts colleges out there, nothing against them at all. But I went there for 4.5 years. I was one of those. Went 4.5 years. And then my first day of class at Trevecca, and this is, I can plug Trevecca since I have kids at 2 other colleges, but my very first class at Trevecca in the master's program, Dr. King stood up and he said, well, welcome to Trevecca. This is a Christian university, and we start all of our classes with a devotion, and I would like to have the devotion this morning, and we're going to sing around. And Dr. King was, I think, elder at his church, COC, and so we sang, Father, I Adore You, in a round in class,
Beautiful.
in college. And I mean, you could have heard a pin drop for a lot of us either had gone to Austin or Western, whatever the case may be. Huge spiritual experience to start your master's program. And ever since then, even when I got done with my master's and back when Jackson got a little bit older and we talked about going back to get my doctorate, and I told Stacy, I said, I really want to go back to Trevecca. And it's not cheap. It's a lot cheaper now because they have all these programs. They'll pay you to go back and get your degrees and whatnot. But I would not go any other place because, every class starts with a devotion. So my class will start with a devotion, and we'll do that. And it really gets the class off on a good foot. And those people are there because they believe in that process. So I'm excited. And now I have to prepare a syllabus.
Dr. Stephanie Evans just graduated from David Evans's wife. Got her doctorate at Trevecca. So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is Matt just got his master's there, Matt Driscoll.
Okay.
I think because he was graduating because it was such a.
He's got the Trevecca sign outside.
Yes.
He's working on a degree.
I think he's graduating this. I think he graduated Saturday. And there was not a whole lot of pomp and circumstance with him because that was the first day Christy had to be back in duty because she's in, the military and she'd been on a medical leave. And so everybody was just, but he goes, will you come to my graduation? I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, he
but
and
I think
he and I've
that
talked. I may see him sometime soon.
I think he graduated, and forgive me, Matt, I should be a better friend than that to say, hey, congratulations. But I'm pretty sure he got his master's Saturday.
Well, congratulations to
I'll have to check it out.
Everyone.
Yeah, there's a bunch that did.
I graduated one from MTSU on Friday night and moved the other one out of Austin P that morning. So it's been a very busy weekend. And but congratulations, I know. I know Stephanie pretty well as well.
And I'm so proud of her because I remember there's been a couple of times I've invited her on the show, and she's been like, I'm working on my doctorate. I can't right now.
Congratulations to the Highsmith, her family. We always talk about David's family, and I know her family. I know Rick.
Yep.
And very proud of that. That's a big deal. I do remember. I don't remember my undergrad. I don't remember my master's that well at all. But I do remember my EDD at Trevecca sitting there, and I've got a friend that graduated over the weekend from Trevecca as well.
Yeah.
And that big purple robe, I tell people I look like Grimace from the McDonald's commercials. But it's hot, and it was hot this weekend too. So for those who did graduate at Trevecca over the weekend, kudos to you because it was hot.
It was.
And I've been in that quad. I've been in that robe. Yeah. But what a special
Matt
special
did.
place.
Matt
there you
did.
go.
Yeah, he
Congratulations,
did.
Matt.
Congratulations, Matt. I was pretty sure you did because he turned 50. He turns 50 on May 2nd. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother. May 2nd, he turns 50, and then he got his master's on May 6th. And then he had his 13-year anniversary to Christy. So they've had a big week. But anyway, so my friend, I'm sorry I forgot to congratulate you on your master's. But yes, everybody, how's Jackson liking Austin P?
You know what? To quote Jackson Causey, he's living his best life.
Oh!
So
I love that.
Very proud
I love
of him.
that. I love that.
We came home on two wheels on Friday. He mowed. I said, buddy, if we mow, we take care of this before we go to Murfreesboro to graduate your sister. We'll go to the movie. So we went and saw the Guardians of the Galaxy movie on Sunday. After going back to MTSU, because Madison's church recognized their graduates, and we had never been to St. Mark's, which is Methodist in Murfreesboro, where she did her internship and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we went there for church on Sunday morning, and then we drove back. But he graduated he ended the semester with a 3.5.
Awesome.
And his cumulative is, I think, like a 3.57. You know, 'cause he also has all of his associate's degree classes as well. So
incredible.
So he's living his best life.
So proud of him.
He's kicking it. I did have to tell you, they actually they opened up a drawing 3 class, which is his major. So the broadcasting class will have to wait.
Oh.
So we plugged that in, but we'll see. Hopefully,
we thought he was going to do that.
it's one of those where that is the only downfall, and it really depends on how you schedule it. But of the associates program that we have in Robertson County, because all your agenda is done.
Yeah.
So depending on what you do after your associate's degree, you're taking all major classes. So if you need these, 12 art classes and these 4 are this semester, sometimes there's only one class that you can register for. Mm-hmm. So he's at 12 hours, but it's not because he doesn't want to take 15. It's just the others just aren't available this semester. Mm-hmm. So you kind of get pigeonholed or, into a certain schedule, but they were able to open up another class. And Austin Peay's got it kicking too. They've got their president came and spoke to us a few weeks ago at Rotary and pretty much said, if in the 4 years, if you don't graduate because of us, not because of you, but because you could not fit in the classes that you need to graduate, if you have to go another semester, it's on us. We'll pay for it. And I thought, wow, that's huge. So anyway, they've got lots of programs. They've got lots of scholarships for both traditional and non-traditional students, or at least what we used to call non-traditional students. Now everybody's just students. But yeah, it's they've got it going on too. So let's see, I've plugged 3 universities so far.
There you go. Did a good job. Dr. Chris Causey's in the house. We're going to
also the Grow Your Own program.
Yeah.
And we have 27 of those this fall that are working as classified assistants in Robertson County.
Yeah.
That 7 of them will graduate in the next spring with their teaching license. And then the others will be a couple of years down the road. But we hire you as a classified staff. We give you a mentor teacher. You're in the classroom with that mentor teacher every day. Mm-hmm. You do have one in-person class at Highland Crest. The others are online. And in 3 years, you will have your teaching certification and ready to go on. And then you have to teach for us for 3 years. And as we said, we were on the line with, we're about to blow this up. It's going to be a huge article that's coming out. And when we do that, then we'll be sure everybody gets a copy. But we truly believe if you teach for us for 3 years, you want to teach for us forever.
Amen.
So anyway, that's kind of our mentality there.
I love it. And I'll tell you right now, I'm having a blast. And that's not to say that it has not been without great challenges, because it's so different to me. Right. And so, but I'm absolutely loving it. And I mean, and I'm in the program now that is a career teaching program. It's a EPP. It's an educational preparedness program that's out of Rutherford County. I've already paid my down payment. They got us in. I've already got a teaching license.
Yeah.
I got all my stuff in. I got my licenses. I got my verification of my career prior to. And there's all these things. I mean, they don't just say, hey, you've been in this industry for a while. Why don't you come in and teach? You've got to show that you've had the experience, or you've got a degree that backs up what they want you to teach career-wise. And then you've got to go learn to teach. Yeah. And you can do that with an EPP or an educational program that's specialized to that, or you can get your master's. And I looked at that because they put us on hold for a minute out in Rutherford County. And so I started looking at some of the master's programs, and then after checking with everybody, I'm like, no, now that they've opened it back up, I'm just staying on that track. And I may get my master's later. Yeah. I may come to Rebecca and get my master's so I can have you teach a class to me. I love the idea of that class. Yeah. I've been watching A Social Dilemma. Oh, you need to watch this. People, if you have children, And I'm going to try to unpack it in pieces to my students because when we've talked, I was teaching them about Edward Bernays, and they're thrilled. And Edward Bernays is like the public relation from a media perspective. He is the one who talked women into smoking in the 1920s because it showed their freedom, and he was the one who put out ads to convince us that we needed to have a hearty breakfast. He's the reason we have bacon and eggs for breakfast, and he's the PR propaganda guy, and so much of what was talked about in that lesson, it just kind of echoes into this social dilemma thing. And I mean, wow, what a powerful video. And it's a documentary that's available on Netflix, and I digress. I had my Corbin Creek people opened up here so we can do the ad real quick because we have 4 ads we got to get to now that Veterans Motorplex is back. But we want to pause and talk about my friends Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center real quickly. Miss Jane loves you. If I go out there, they're always asking. They're like, "Oh, Dr. Causey was on your show," and they're always anxious to talk about you. But they're at 4920 Highway 161. You can call them. Let me put the number out here real quick: 615-384-3185. 615-384-3185. Go and talk to them today if you have any questions about your gardening, anything going on in your lawn that you need to see about. I know a lot of us had evergreens that we've lost. I'm pruning now. Things are not coming back that died from the polar vortex. I waited. Miss Amy told me to wait. I waited. Some of it came back, some of it didn't. But if you've got questions, great time to go and talk to them. It's Customer Appreciation Day. Get out there this weekend. It's happening Saturday. They're going to have free hot dogs. Going to have food trucks there starting at 10. But they're going to have a planting station opened up for the kids so they can plant something beautiful for mom, or you can get a hanging basket for mom. Go inside the store, check out all the gifts and things that they have inside the store that may be just perfect for your mom, and help your mama out for Mother's Day by getting her something beautiful from Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. And when you're out there for Customer Appreciation Day this Saturday, tell them U-Turn sent you. Back to it, Dr. Chris Causey. What happened at the meeting last night?
Well, we did have a 2-hour planning session, and
Oh, yes.
and that was we're budget time, so most of our planning sessions are regarding the budget. Right now, our budget, it's always good when you have a budget year in which you can do things, and you're not tied into what you have to do as opposed to getting to do what you want to do. And the big conversation last night was we do have an increase in funding. Thanks to the state, and what are we going to do with some of that increase in funding? Usually, and I say usually, every single year, we usually take part of our fund balance. It could be $2 million up to about $5 million to actually balance the budget of the things that we want to do. And then at the end of the year, we do have a surplus, and we put back money in our fund balance. So that's our great fund balance. This year, we actually haven't taken any out of our fund balance.
Awesome.
So the question becomes, what are we going to do with some of these funds? And the big topic that we had last night, and what folks need to know, is about raises for teachers. So the governor has made it very clear that in 3 years, he wants the minimum salary schedule for teachers in the state of Tennessee to be at $50,000. We're at 44 and some change right now. So, and the minimum salary schedule in Tennessee right now is 41. So we've always been on the other side of that minimum salary schedule, because that's how you get teachers, if you're able to afford it, if districts are able to afford it, thanks to local sales tax dollars, shop local. We're close to, we're projected maybe get close to $19 million. And we only budgeted 15 this year, which is a good thing.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, keep on shopping local. It really is making a difference penny by penny. So with all that being said, I won't get into the property tax conversation. As for Chris Trauber, next time he's on there. But
I need to get him. Yeah, honestly, I haven't had him. I've got him, especially now. I need to get him in here
he spoke
talk
to
to him.
last week. And Chris is a highly intelligent, wonderful man. I've known him and his family for years through Joe Burns. His daughter teaches for us, actually. But the point is, even with your property tax or your appraisal increasing, it has to be tax neutral. So at the end of the day, unless county commission raises taxes, you're not going to pay more than you did last year for the most part.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but it's not 200% like people are freaking out. I mean, including mine. I got mine, and I want to march into his office and say, if you can sell it for that, I'll take it. And I mean, that's what we all do. But anyway, it just tells you that everybody's come to Robertson County.
Yeah.
Everybody's willing to pay whatever it takes to come to Robertson County, and what that does, it raises everybody's property tax or property values up. So, all right, Chris, there's your plug, because let me tell you something. He's a good man, and the stuff that people yell and scream and text him, it's just ridiculous, folks. It is. It's just get off of that, because he did not cause your property value to go up. He did not sit in his office and go, yeah, let's make that one 200,000 more. But anyway, I digress.
And we knew it was coming. I mean, we knew because of the property. I mean, mine's been undervalued for a while, and I knew it, and so I was not surprised at all when I got the notice. I'm actually kind of surprised it went a little bit higher. So anyway,
I got to give him place, because, like I said, he's a good guy.
Yep.
And he's just doing his job, and people need to back off. Okay, moving on. So one of the big topics last night is a race, and looking at original budget, preliminary budget had $3,000 a year raise across the entire salary schedule. For a lot of folks, that is actually about a 6% raise.
Oh yeah,
of a $50,000 schedule or salary. For those who make less, it's more, of course. If those who make more, it's a little bit less. But it's hovers somewhere between 5% and 7%, depending on where you are in salary schedule. That'll be the one of the largest raises we've ever given. And the board's looking at even doing a little bit more. So that's exciting. That is exciting.
As a teacher, I'm excited.
You're excited.
I won't lie to you.
Last year we did an 8% raise for our classified, 10% raise for our CDC assistants. We're going to do that again for 2 years in a row. We're going to be able to do that. So, and then we talk about extra teaching positions. We're adding PE positions to stay in law with Tom Cronin Act. You can look that one up. We talked about RTI positions that are heavily needed, because the new funding formula is really student by student. So if you've got a school with a lot of kids needing intervention, and you haven't shown that you're spending that money on intervention teachers and intervention curriculum and those kind of things, then they're going to come back and say, okay, it's not a spending plan, but it kind of is, because you got this money based on these kids needing tutoring. Why aren't you tutoring them? So we've got to due diligence. We are talking about adding an assistant principal at Coopertown Middle, Greenbrier Middle, counselors at Coopertown Middle, Greenbrier Middle, and White House Heritage. Heritage High, Heritage Elementary split a counselor this year. They'll get one of their own coming in the fall. So that will give 3 counselors at the high school, 2 counselors at the elementary school, because we've got to do a lot of work with the social, emotional, mental well-being of our students. So we actually added. It's funny, because Greenbrier Middle, when it was built, believe it or not, that 6th grade wing was built. This is a little bit before my time. There was an office that was put there on the corner for a second AP or a second counselor. And here we are in 2023, and I still don't have anybody in that position yet. Yeah. So we're gonna fix that. And of course, Coopertown Middle is growing with IA forming and Springfield Middle School kind of being shifted around. So we're excited about those. We did talk a little bit about the Grow Your Own program, as we already mentioned. That's 27 individuals. 20 of those actually are going to be in the classroom with a teacher on day one. What that means is a lot of those positions, though, we have to fill their positions, because they were a special ed assistant. That's now part of the Grow Your Own, or they were in the office and now they're part of Grow Your Own. So we had to hire them, and then we had to fill the position that they used to have. So that's a little bit of money, over about $600,000. And then on the tuition side of that, Austin P kind of gives us a deal. But the first half, not this budget year, but next budget year, we'll have to pay a little bit. But the first half is usually covered by Tennessee Reconnect. So we don't pay anything until all of their grants and all of their any kind of scholarships or whatever that they have. They don't really have a whole lot of scholarships for those kind of students, but definitely grants with Tennessee Reconnect. And if you want to go back to college and you're already past that, they've got a lot of money out there for you to do that. So please look into that. So it really about the only thing we pay would be books and things like that. And we have a great relationship with Austin P and Vol State, who's on the community college side. So 3-year program, the first year and a half or so belongs to Vol State. The second half belongs to Austin P, and they work in conjunction with each other and with us to give you help you earn a degree and a teaching license in 3 years.
That's amazing. And guys, if you've not considered teaching and maybe you've retired out of a career, retire into teaching, I'm absolutely loving it. It's just it's been a good fit for me, and can't recommend it enough. I've toyed with the idea. I've had several people ask me about it, and I'm like, well, I've been talking about it ever since I met Dr. Causey, and then all of a sudden it just
happened.
you guys were planning it behind my back is what you were doing, and I didn't even know. So, but anyway, I'm thankful.
Little cuss, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
We're very excited about the Innovative School Models Grant. Part of our budget
Yeah.
now, we have to separate into that grant. So adding teachers, adding middle school career exploration teachers. So our kids will get to explore. A lot of times they're like going, well, I'm going to play for the Titans or, whatever the case may be. And they don't understand that the Titans have about 8,000 jobs you can have working for the Titans without playing football.
Yes.
Which is something I wish I would have known because I wanted to play professional football. And as you can see, it didn't happen. But, there were other positions out there that I didn't even think about,
So
You do it.
I got to share this with you, but there's this so funny because I had a conversation with a senior yesterday who is going to be an accountant. He's brilliant. And, but I was like, okay, what did you dream of doing? And he was talking about wanting to be a comedian and had really loved pro wrestling. And I said, well, they need accountants. And you could, and he was like, you're right. And so it was just such a fun, interesting conversation, but it was exactly that same thing.
Take care of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking with Dr. Chris Causey. If you have any questions, just submit them in the comments. I'm going to pause for a second, and we're going to talk about Veterans Motorplex. Remember, we're racing again through October. You can go to the races on Saturday at Veterans Motorplex. Best way to stay up to date on if they have rain delays, if they have rain cancellations, if all the things that are going on. Go to Highland Rim Speedway on social media and follow them there. The reason they kept that is they had a lot of followers when Jerry took over the track and turned it to Veterans Motorplex. But my goodness, have they done such a phenomenal job. It is wonderful. It is so much fun. I had no idea that was going on right here in our little neighborhood. And it's up in Greenbrier, by the way, where I spend a lot of time these days. It's at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier, 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. If you've got questions, you can call them at 615-643-8725, 643-8725. They do a lot of things. They have they get involved with the kids. I know our Greenbrier kids had a parade going around the track the other day. They just have so much fun. Gates open at 4 on Saturday. They'll give you a ticket price of $40. They'll get in 8 people, 6 kids, 2 adults for that price, and you will just have the best time. Got a great concession stand. Runs like a little cafeteria. They know how to get it done, and it is a fun time. Go out and talk to them today. When you get out to Veterans Motorplex, make sure you tell them you appreciate them being one of our sponsors here at One Straight Over. Tell them YouTube sent you. When's the last time you went to the races, Dr. Causey?
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Did Greenbrier have their senior?
Yes, last Tuesday.
So that started during COVID.
I know.
And I remember I heard about it, and I saw pictures. Of course, it's not a school-sponsored event.
No, it's just.
But some of the pictures we did see from that. There's a young lady during COVID that had up the sign that says, this was not the high school musical experience that I expected. For those.
Oh, bless her.
So anyway, it was, of course, because they were separated. They had masks on, back in the day. So, but anyway, Criswells are just wonderful people.
They are amazing.
I go to church with Kevin, and just I've had lots of every single year. They pretty much print out tickets for the school system and give them out for free and say, please come. And it's a family experience. It truly is. Everything is around the family. So very proud of the work that they do for the school system, as well as the Down syndrome association folks and all of those. Just cool people doing cool things for the community. What more can you want? So,
and we'll be getting him on and getting all the update from him real soon. So where else are we in the meeting? What else did we get to?
We at the end of the budget discussion, and for those who want to know when will the budget be passed and those kind of things, the board will actually vote on the budget. We're going to have another meeting between now and the June meeting, just for budget talk. But the second Monday of June, the next board meeting, they will vote. The very next day, I will turn around and present that budget, that voted on budget, to the budget committee. And then they have to go through all of the public. They have a public meeting. We're under the county commission budget, or the county budget. So the county commission will actually vote on all of our budgets in August. Now, the law does allow us to go ahead and start school. And but the raises and things like that usually end up in September check, and we just make them retroactive. So September, once it's voted upon, September's check will have both August and September's raise on it. So anyway, that's just kind of the way we did it for the longest time, because we had real numbers. A lot of counties have already passed their budget, but it's based on projected numbers. This is how much we think we're going to get at the end of those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And even the state funding formula isn't finalized yet. So with all that being said, our county likes to wait until we know what the number is for real, and then we can budget accordingly. So that's why we take a little bit longer, but that's the way they chose to do it. So another thing we did talk about was all of the facility projects that we have coming up for 2023. And when I say that, we're talking about the renovation and or addition, definitely an addition, not sure about the renovation part, of West Side Elementary School. Mm-hmm. Thinking about kind of doing what we did at Coopertown Elementary. For those who have been at West Side, that's been a long time coming as well. We do have a lot of schools that honestly should have been renovated 30 years ago, and here we are. So West Side, we were talking about Springfield, Innovation Academy, which is a two-parter. One is parking, because we'll have juniors there and they need to drive. Mm-hmm. So we need to fix the parking. And once again, something should have been done 60 years ago, because it used to be a high school and it didn't have any more parking than it does right now. And it used to have a swimming pool around back. So with all that being said, I don't know if you knew that or not. If you go behind Springfield Middle, there's a grass lot back there, and that used to be the public swimming pool.
Okay.
And those who have been around Robertson County before, I moved here in 95, so it was closed, I think, in 93, 94, somewhere in that.
It was about the time I got here.
It closed when the wife showed up, for the most part. So there may be a couple years difference, but that's what I've been told. But yeah, a lot of people got their swimming lessons and all of that back there, but there's property back there. The city of Springfield has actually deeded that property back to the school system, including the Bottoms, where they used to practice football, which is on Old Kenny's Road down there. It's called the Bottoms because it is the bottom, but they used to practice football, and now the city's got all their stuff cleaned up. Ryan Martin and I joke. And we've got some plans for all of that, and a lot of it is parking. So that's the first part of the renovation. Second part is that's all the structure, Robertson County. When it comes to schools, we still have clay pipes, coming out, all of that. So we, the plumbing, the bathrooms, all of that stuff. The bones are just excellent, but we have a lot of sewer needs there. So and HVAC needs. So that is the two huge projects you're going to see moving forward out of school system is West Side and the IA. The other things that we talked about last night would be the build out of Phoenix, which is the building where the central office is, the alternative area on the other side, Phoenix Academy. Talked about purchasing of land, as always, possibly at Greenbrier Way, as we've talked about a little bit. Also regarding a new school in White House. So great conversation. That was about an hour of the planning session, believe it or not.
I can imagine.
And then we did have our curriculum instruction and assessment folks presented on a program about standards-based grading, which we've heard about mainly at the elementary level. But really, how do we make sure that the grades that we give in class reflect what the kids can do, as opposed to behavior? If a kid gets a 0 just because he didn't do anything, that 0 really doesn't reflect what they can do. We don't know what they can do. Mm-hmm. So what does that look like? They didn't try. So it's almost like, all right, is a 0, a child makes 4 90s in a 0. you can do the math there. That's what 360 divided by 5 grades. So that is, what is that? Whatever it is.
I'll let you do the math in your head.
Well, it's a C. It's 70
it's a
something.
C, yeah.
Okay. It's so it's almost like, well, they got 4 A's and a 0.
Mm-hmm.
Are they really a C student? Are they an A student? And we need to find out more about that 0.
Why they're not doing the work. Yeah.
If we give them a 0, so it's talking about, do we give zeros? Do we give 50s? And that's believe it or not, that is a hard sell for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's still an F, but one you can recover from, the other one you can't. So we had that conversation last night, because any changes that come will actually have to change board policy.
Okay.
And so there are some policies, and if you want to look at those, they're actually on the they got passed on first reading. Mm-hmm. So that'll be uploaded, but they're not passed yet. They're not in effect yet. And it really just talks about changing for K2. We're not going to say A, B, C, D, F anymore. We're going to go down to pretty much what TCAP gives us, which is, below expectations, at expectations, exceed expectations, those 4 levels that the assessment gives us at the end of the year. So no longer, for a lot of our parents, will you have a second grader or a first grader that gets, they're 98, 95, whatever. What does that even mean? You really have no idea, especially if we're given a 95 in reading class and we're still struggling reading. That 95 doesn't reflect what that child can do. So making sure that those things really line up, as opposed to, I got a report card in the 5th grade that says my kid made straight A's. I'm very proud, but we're just at expectations or even below expectations on TCAP. We've got to get those things closer together. So that was a big conversation with our CIA folks, but it does make people stop and think. Even judging the weather this week, it's going to be 80s all day or all week long. Mm-hmm. If Thursday, if your thermometer doesn't work outside and you end up with 4 80s and it didn't work, so it was a 0, does that really mean that the average temperature for the week was a 65? No. It means that the average temperature for the week was at 80. So it changes your mentality, and you think, okay, does this score reflect what they can do, or does it reflect behavior? If it reflects behavior, it doesn't belong in a grade book. Because the grades have to, we have a firm belief that the grade that a child gets in your class ought to reflect what they can do.
Okay.
Not because that they were compliant. Mm-hmm. I was a compliant. No, I wasn't. I'm not. I can't even say that without laughing. But there are kids who are compliant, who still do not know the material, and they get A's and they get B's because they're nice and they turn in their work, even though it's kind of not great work. And then you have those kids who do struggle, and I was one of those. I won't get into that, but from 4th grade on, I was an interesting little boy to have in class, and I've got teachers that will tell you that. But I was also bored, So let's get to that. Let's find out what that's all about. Mm-hmm. And Jackson's one of those too. A little sorry sucker. He can walk in and take a test after seeing something one time, and he just blows it out of the water. There are others, and mind you, it doesn't matter if you worked up to that point or not, Mm-hmm. But there are others that, that really they try and they, do everything that they can. And then when it comes test time, it doesn't reflect what they can do. So we have to have multiple ways to assess that child, mm-hmm. just so that grade reflects what they can do, as opposed to, they struggled this whole time, but they really do know the material. Another conversation that we had is, if I pass my driving test the first time, I get to drive, all hours of the day. If it takes you 4 times to pass your driver's test, they don't tell you can only drive between the hours of 12 and 4 because it took you 4 times. They let you have the exact same driving privileges as the one that passed it the first time. So if it takes you 4 times to get to a 90 on a test, do I give you a 90 or do I average those 4? Well, if you really want that score to reflect what the child can do, it's a 90. Mm-hmm. It's not an average of the 4. And that's a hard conversation, but I think it's a conversation we need to have.
I get it. I get it completely.
And the long range,
yeah.
Mr. Rice was very good. He goes, long range, what are we looking to do? Mm-hmm. We're looking to make sure that the grades reflect what the child can do. That means we can push them even further. That means ACT scores will go up. And it also means from the K2 level that we're going to have less kids at the third grade that get retained, because that's a law now, get retained because of something that we should have been doing better K through 2. We didn't inflate anything in the second grade. If your child is struggling reading, their ELA score is not going to be a 95. It might be a 2, and that's out of a 4-point type of scale. And that tells you, and it also gives a reflection that the report cards that our kiddos get, kindergarten and first grade, and second grade moving forward, will say, this is what your child mastered, this is what they need help on. And as a parent, then you can go back and look at it and go, okay, let's work on this during the summer after first grade. As opposed to right now, you get an 86 and you go, oh, they're doing great. That's a B. That's what I got. And you move forward. And that's not what we want for our kids.
Interesting. And I mean, from a teacher's perspective, I'm going, okay, because I've got those students that are brilliant, but they just, maybe they're bored, and or maybe they're just, I just don't want to do it today. And then I will put a 0 in the book, and they're like, can I go ahead and complete that? And it's like, yes, but you won't get full credit, but go ahead and complete the assignment. And so we have those conversations, but it doesn't really reflect what they know. And then I do have students that do sub work, but they turn in everything. And so they end up with a decent grade, but it doesn't really reflect the fact everything they turn in, they're struggling with their grammar. They're struggling with things that I'm not in charge of, but I'm noticing. You know, how do you deal with that?
But you still have that autonomy as a teacher when you're talking with your PLCs, or you're talking with the English teacher or whatever. That child may not have English that semester. Maybe they had it this semester before because we're on a block. But the teacher that housed them the next year, unless they're a senior, need to know this child's still struggling with subject-verb agreement.
Yeah.
You can talk to professionals right now that still come out with a we was. You know what I'm saying? These folks did struggle with that at some point, and nobody ever came back and said, if you're speaking professionally, it is we were. Now, if you're in the backyard talking to your kid, that's something totally different. I'm talking about.
I know,
If you're talking to a group, you're in a professional manner, whatever the case may be, and you say, we was, you is, whatever the case may be, I just means at some point you didn't practice that enough to get that out of your vernacular.
What you just said. I'm talking with Dr. Chris Causey. This is very interesting. Your visits become more and more interesting as I am a teacher longer and longer. And I can't say enough about needing teachers, wanting you to be a part of what we are doing with the kiddos, and what an opportunity. Retire into teaching, y'all. If you're like me and you've been doing something else, talk to them and see what you can do to help out in the classroom. I'm going to pause for a second and talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Really to Guard the Gate team. Talking about people who help in the community. I've been having trouble with a TriCaster issue at the school, and Barry is the one. He came out of he was vice president of a marketing company for 17 years, and then went full-time with real estate. And I hate to keep bothering him. He's the one who taught me to fly a drone so I can teach the kids. And so I'm like, I need some help with this TriCaster, and he's going to be there today to help me. So he's just that kind of guy, and so is Rebecca. They're just awesome couple. I love them to pieces. I met them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. That's where they brought me in to host that years ago, and they're sponsors of it. Barry's on the board there. You'll see them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, not this weekend, but next weekend. But don't wait till then. If you need help in real estate community, whether it be buying or selling, whatever it is, if you need somebody to market your property that you're selling because you're not getting any attention for it right now, you may need new pictures, may need some videography, you may need some drone footage. Well, he can help you out with all of that. You can contact them. Call Becky at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or BUYRobertsonCounty.com. They specialize in Robertson County properties because they're one of us. They've been here for over 27 years, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Tell them U-Turn sent you. Dr. Chris Causey in the house. And what else do we need to talk about,
Let's
sir?
get our board meeting.
Okay. Have we not gotten there yet?
We did see, we did have our
funny.
senior class presidents. 3 of them
Awesome.
were able to make it last night, did the pledge for us. So shout out to them. And I know that's an important role, and they get to speak during graduation and those kind of things. And one that didn't show up last night was yours from Greenboro High School, and that's because he was playing in the regional championship game, which he won, by the way.
Yep.
If you haven't heard that. And he's going to Swanee. Very proud of him. Proud of all of our class presidents. And you can list that under things that I never got selected to do. So moving on, one of the biggest changes that the public will see in the fall will be with our website. We've had the same website for as long as I can remember, even before I became director, and the ability for us to do things are very limited. And when you see other people's websites that have grown with the times, ours is just not there. So we're able to vet quite a few different website providers, and the board entered into an agreement with Final Site last night. If you go to Franklin Special, which is in Williamson County, and some other school systems out there that use this, you will see embedded video.
Awesome.
It's not a YouTube link anymore. It's truly an embedded video that you can watch. Calendar syncing. So right now, if you go to our calendar, even we have to put those things on the website. This will actually sync with Office 365, so that when Greenboro High School can set aside their own calendar, put things on that calendar using Office 365, and then it will automatically sync with their website.
Very
There's
cool.
no,
Yeah.
so it's those kind of things that we're very, very excited about. Another thing that we did approve last night was an asbestos agreement. A lot of people may not know that every year all of our buildings are checked for asbestos. Some of them have it. We know it. It's contained. It's not harmful to kids at all, but we have to keep all of that and make sure that it's not falling through the ceiling or coming up through the floors, whatever the case may be. And that's what makes some of these renovations so expensive and so time consuming, because asbestos abatement has to be done first and foremost, and it can't be done with kids in the building at all. So it has to be done during summer. The day after we get out, Westside Elementary School will start putting in HVAC replacement, like we did at Chrysler last summer and like we've done at Bransford. Very excited about that, because those kiddos deserve clean air too. So, so we're replacing all those. All of that has been done with some COVID money that we had, and of course, in Greenbrier Middle School wing was done with COVID money as well. So just know that was approved last night. Pest control, making sure that all the rodents and
Creepy
the
crawlers.
creepy crawlers are out. And then during the director's report, and I know I'm trying to fly through some things here. The board meeting dates did get approved last night. They'll be on our website relatively soon. So if you want to know when those are, a lot of people like to come for different reasons. But we are in graduation season. And I want to make sure that everybody's aware that our graduations actually start next Wednesday with Phoenix Academy. That will be held actually at Innovation Academy Theater there at Springfield Middle. And then that's on Wednesday. And then Thursday night, we have Springfield High School. All of these are outside. I do not believe there are tickets this year, so you can come on. Just also know that we are streaming it. So if you're able to watch it at home and you don't have one graduating, I definitely encourage you to stay at home in the privacy of your own living room, because otherwise you may be taking a seat that somebody's mom needs. But anyway, I see that, but I don't think we have any tickets this year. Friday night, we have East Robertson. Saturday, that's a week from this Saturday, actually the 20th. So we start on the 16th. No, that's not right. Yeah, 17th, Wednesday, 18th, Thursday, Springfield High. The 19th is Friday at East Robertson. This 20th is Saturday, is a twofer. It's got Joe Burns High in the morning, White House Heritage High School at night. And then on the next Monday, the 22nd, is Greenboro High School. So it is graduation time. Very proud of the work that all of our seniors have done. This is they've kind of checked out. I was at your school yesterday, and we're talking to, I talked to some folks yesterday that were going to the workforce. I talked to some that were going to the Air Force. Talked to some that were working at Electrolux. They've got a plan, they've got a job, and we had our our career fair at the library a few weeks ago that the chamber hosted, and we had kiddos that walked away there with a job. I mean, literally said, the week after you graduate, They filled out an application, they were interviewed, and they pretty much walked out with the job. And a big shout out to Jacob Gay, student at your school, who is going to go work for Goodwill. Very proud of him. And like I said, all the students that were recognized yesterday, I got a chance to give them a gift that Renaissance, Samantha Grimes and the Renaissance Club did, and take in front of their picture and shake their hand. Very proud of those kiddos, because here's the thing: we have a lot of kids who we've got one that's about to be an electrician walking down to school, and got a chance to talk to him, and or working for CSX, work for the railroad. You've got one that going there,
Yes,
and I'm going to tell you, in a couple of years he'll be making more than you and me. But
I told him when he told me, because I know he's one of mine, and I just love the kid to death, and a young man, and he's an artist too, and so he's doing a piece of artwork that's going to hang over my door. It just says audio video, but it's nothing crazy. But I was like, yeah, that's going to be kind of cool. But he's fascinating. I said,
you're going to see. I said, you're going to see the world, aren't you? He goes, plan on it.
I know he's great. He's a great,
very
young
cool
man.
kid.
It's all of them, and it's exciting to see.
Yeah, and they're different. Like you said, you got to remind them take their earbuds out before you take a picture with the director.
Yeah.
But
there you go.
but very 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 respectful young men, young ladies, and just to see what they're going to do. And none of them said they were teaching, but we'll still try.
We'll still work on them.
But it is, that pipeline is getting smaller. I mentioned even to Austin P. I was at MTSU's graduation, as I said, on Friday night, and that is a huge university. And I think I counted 66 teaching degrees. 66.
That's crazy.
And my guess is they'll all pretty much go to Rutherford County, or they'll go back to the school system where they grew up.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. We don't get a whole lot of teachers from MTSU, but hey, we keep on working on our pay scale. And of course, our insurance is one of the best in Tennessee, because we pay 90%. And with all that being said, if you're looking to relocate, this is the place to relocate. If you can afford a place, hopefully with some of those apartments they're building there in town, that'd be really cool. One of those townhomes they're putting down there across from BS in that area. Live there and just what a great place. And anyway, or if you want to be out in the country, you can come by my house.
There you go.
According to the appraisal, I'll sell it to you tomorrow. But
exactly.
You got one more before
we're not moving, none of us.
No.
We see those appraisal values and we're like, wow.
Wow. Yeah. And the problem is you got to buy one. After
Yeah, you got to live somewhere. You got to find somebody.
You got to go somewhere. But you have one more. Or can I talk about the book walk?
Yeah, go ahead, and then I've got one more.
So this past Saturday, that was a lot of fun. Got a chance to read some kiddos there on the square, and actually got this email from Ashley Robertson, who is with our family engagement specialist for Connecting Robertson County. Great program that with Help United Way we started 3 years ago. They're at the Family Resource Center, and they're the ones that got the grant for the book walk. Daniel Kaminsky, our grant writer, they served a total of 132 children on Saturday morning. And that was 264 adults. I think they did that was just times two, I guess. Total of 396 people in conjunction with Aquinas. And yes, that's the other club, but I got to give them a shout out.
I was wondering if you're going to plug them.
Oh, yeah, of course, because they had their pancake breakfast. And Dan Whitlow, one of our former superintendents, always brings us tickets every year. And so I actually had the chance to eat breakfast with my son, that's a tradition for us. Actually, I used to go to the Aquinas breakfast, and he eats all the pancakes. I eat all his sausage. He's full. I get sick. It's just like a yearly thing.
Just a yearly tradition.
Yearly tradition with me and my kid. But then we were able to go over and read a book. And adults that are listening, by golly, our kids need to see us read. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's out loud or if it's before you go to bed at night. I'm reading a David Baldacci book right now. For those who are familiar with him, it is, crime and murder and just of course writer. They didn't have a large print, but as you get older, but our kids need to see us reading for fun. Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. So we had if you give a pig a pancake, if you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a moose a muffin, make sure I said it correctly, and then I had one that says what grandmas do best. and it was a really cool book because when you read it this way, it's what grandmas do best, dancing and baking and whatever. But when you flip it the other way, it's what grandpas do best. So I got a little confused because I should have looked at it beforehand. That's a trick when you go to read books. Read it beforehand because it stopped and I thought the next page was just upside down, like it was a misprint. Then I realized, no, that's another book. You got to flip it over. But got a chance to read to some of our kiddos who, they love. All you got to do is walk into one of our elementary schools, go to Bransford, go to, West Side, go somewhere that's close to you. And we do have reading partners. We have a lot of businesses in Robertson County that actually release their folks to go read. And if you want to do that, all you have to do is contact our office. And say, hey, I'm a community person that wants to read for our kiddos. They will send you to our Family Resource Center and or even federal programs. We can hook you up with a program that allows you to do that. We have a lot of our folks that will go read 30 minutes a week. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. And the kids, they want to know what you do for a living, and then they want you to read something. And that's humongous, especially when if they're one of our English language learners who may not, they hear English during the day, but when they get home, it's Spanish till they go to bed. So we do have a lot of books that are actually bilingual for them, and all the books that we gave away on Saturday were also bilingual. So, if you give a mouse a cookie, I think it's if you give a pig a pancake, which went along with the Kiwanis pancakes, they were in English and Spanish, and they were on big boards, and they started at the library, and then you got a chance to walk around town, and then finished with the pancakes, and you were given a book and a bag of little goodies, and it was a great event. We did it last year. The rain held off. We really thought it was going to be a rainy weekend, and I also had the one that went to the Taylor Swift concert on Saturday night, which ended up being the best of all the nights as far as the concert goes. But for those who were able to dodge the raindrops and come out there on Saturday morning, I really appreciate it because it was a great community event.
Yeah, it was. And we didn't get to attend, but we did get to pass through for just a minute. We had events with our kids that day. We had baseball, and I got one moving and all those things. But it was a great event, and I thought, just what a great idea, too. What a great idea to get our kids engaged in reading. Now, we need to pause for a second and talk about our final sponsor, Cumberland Connect, another full-time sponsor here at One Street Over. So thankful for them and what they have meant to my internet connectivity. I'm at 600 upload speeds now. I can do all my photography. I can upload my pictures when I have a client come in and do all of that at home. It is amazing. Yes, I love YouTube TV, too. At first, I wasn't real sure about it, but you convinced me, and it's really cool. Yeah. And here's the thing, because it is a utility now, we realize that, and because of the Affordable Connectivity Program, they can provide qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. So if you're struggling financially, you may be eligible, and you could receive credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services, and they have packages that start at $30 per month. When will they be in your neighborhood? Just go and check them out at cumberlandconnect.org. They may already be there. There's still some areas they haven't covered. It's about another year before they'll have everybody connected. I'm sorry, Senator Kerry Roberts, you're one of the last. But you can call 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362 if you have questions for them, and check it out. See when they're going to be in your neighborhood. If you're a Cumberland Electric customer, you're going to have access to high-speed internet. I got a gig. You can get one too from Cumberland Connect. Check them out today and let them know that you turned attention. I love talking about how the fact that Senator Kerry Roberts is going to be one of the last, because you and the mayor, Mayor Vogel, were early and said, it wasn't because he's the director of schools and he's the mayor, it's just they were in an underserved area, because the senator is going to be one of the last. I mean, come on.
Orlando got it first. And luckily, I talked to the director of schools in Stewart County. I called Mike and said, how is it? He says, you'll never, ever go back. You'll never do anything different.
Exactly.
And, so,
it's wonderful.
Mike Craig, got to give Stewart County director a shout out. Just a few other things. Patsy Gregory is our supervisor of school nutrition. Mm-hmm. For the past couple of years, of course, COVID allowed us to give all meals for free, lunch and breakfast, across the entire county. Last year, she did it because she had built up enough savings and that kind to pay for it. Mm-hmm. This upcoming year, Right now, as I sit here, we will not be charging for breakfast and lunch for students again, no
Wow.
matter what your income level is. That's huge. I say all that because she's being nationally recognized now. She is the national, not the state, not the mid-region, not the southeast, whatever. She's the national school nutrition director of the year. This was announced last week. We're having. I don't know if they've started yet. I hope she's not listening. But anyway, going to celebrate her a little bit this morning, which is where I'm going. But I do want to give a quick plug on Memorial Day on Saturday. The Jennifer Green Foundation is having their 5K. I know Chad Gregory's on here a few times, and from someone who knew Jennifer back in the day, who knows Bobby, who knows her sister and Chad and the whole family. Just wonderful, wonderful people. More importantly, this foundation gives a lot of resources to the school system for our CDC classes. We're talking about washers, dryers, stoves, life skill type of equipment that our kids use right now in our schools and all of our high schools, so where they can go on after high school and live productive lives, taking care of themselves, and that they're just amazing what that organization does. So as I told our folks last night, director of school signed up. Won't be running a whole lot, but I will be walking. It's a color run. If you don't like that kind of stuff like me, then at the end you can go to another finish line and you won't get sprayed with all the color and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because as you get, it's not really spraying me with color. It's getting into the car afterwards. And it's
in my car.
Yeah, it's Stacy's car that I don't want to mess up. So anyway,
right.
with all that being said, please get online to register. Even if you end up just walking it for exercise, whatever the case may be, that's what I'm doing. But the money goes towards a wonderful organization who does wonderful things for kids.
Very good, Dr. Chris Causey. Anything else? We can go a minute or so over if we need to.
I think that is about it.
Okay.
I won't get into a whole lot of details, but you can always call us anytime. You know, the one thing about the board meeting last night, once all was said and done, I don't think a single member of the public was there. And, you know, we had all of our folks. There's so many things going on, but you can watch it after the fact. You can get online and you can watch it if you want to know what's going on. And my biggest request is that people do care about what's going on a month-to-month basis, not just when they get irked about something.
Yeah.
Or they've got the pressing issue. You know, it was standing room only 2 weeks ago when we had the special session for the charter school vote.
Yep.
You know, the meeting before that, there weren't a whole lot of people there. You know, so it's almost like being involved in what's going on in your community at all times, not just when you hear something, because 99% of what you will hear on either Facebook or social media or whatever, or from the guy down the street, 99% of that is not true. It is fabricated for about 8 different people. You know, the whole telephone game where you used to whisper to each other, and it changed by the time the end. So, you know, contact us, get the real story, come watch the meeting, call me, whatever you need to do, just so that we can stop some of this stuff from going around.
With your local news from WSGI.
Thank you, Dr.
The
Chris
National
Causey.
Association of
This
Letter
is
Carriers
1100
is holding their annual
WSGI.
Stamp Out
God
Hunger
bless.
food drive this weekend. Many postal workers will be collecting donations of non-perishable food items in Middle Tennessee and around the country. Those who would like to contribute are asked to place a sturdy bag containing shelf-stable food near their mailbox before the mail runs on Saturday. Donations made in the mid-state will support local communities through Second Harvest Food Bank. The Stamp Out Hunger Drive has contributed more than 1.8 billion pounds of food to local pantries around the nation since launching 3 decades ago. A nationwide police advocacy group is now adding to the calls for the release of the Covenant School shooters' writings. The National Association of Police has filed another lawsuit demanding the journals be made public. Metro police leaders previously said they were preparing the writings to be shared, but reversed that decision on the advice of attorneys after litigation was filed by the Tennessee Firearms Association. Republican state lawmakers have said they want to see the journals before they consider new gun regulations. Tennessee's General Assembly meeting in August to discuss public safety. Governor Bill Lee has announced a special session on August 21st. Lee says he'll work with lawmakers and Tennesseans to strengthen public safety and preserve constitutional rights. The governor recently suggested Tennessee adopt stronger gun laws after the Covenant School shooting. While the General Assembly did not pass a bill concerning gun restrictions before the end of the recent legislative session, the governor signed an executive order to strengthen background checks. Is it easy money? A finance company looking for somebody to binge watch all of the Fast and Furious movies in exchange for $1,000. Financial Buzz recently put out a job listing for a Fast and Furious claims adjuster to comb through all 10 movies and take notes on every car crash that takes place. I'm Ron Jordan. That's your Mid-State Update. This is WSGI.